Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, hope you're subscribed to all three channels. There are links on every single video to all the different channels, even over to Brighteon, Bitchute, Rumble, as well as to Ko-Fi and Patreon. Every single video we do has all those links. And so we did one yesterday. Congratulations, you did it. What did you do? Well, go check it out and see what you did. Uh-oh.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I thought it was a cool realization. So, yet another massive fire at a recycling yard. This one's over in Glendale, Arizona. There's just so much going on right now. And those sneakers hanging over a power line is supposed to mean something about illegal substances, is what I've heard being available in the area, in case you guys never heard of that.
You know, it's definitely a way to mark something for something, and I've heard that too, but I wonder, is that, did they mark it for this particular thing here?
Yeah, probably not this, I'm guessing, but again, I'm sure there's something to it. So do you guys know about Project Sandman? Yeah, that describes a 100-plus nation agreement that, when triggered, will see those nations simultaneously dump the dollar and abandon the petrodollar. When that decision is triggered, the dollar and all dollar-denominated assets will plunge to almost zero overnight. In other words, think again, massive overnight hyperinflation, devaluation, and, think about what we've seen in Argentina, Venezuela, and other countries when all of a sudden a gallon of milk costs $2,000 or, something along those lines. It's literally what they have planned. If not, this exact wording, it's right there. We're right on the brink. They will do this when they trigger the full-on war, which is getting closer all the time. As you see, a lot of devices, this is North Muskegon, Michigan, have been found on tracks to derail, of course, because there are so many people in this country and other countries that are there to sabotage, because again, obviously the war is already underway. And the war against humanity has been underway for thousands of years, the entirety of this, the Dark Age, and now we are starting to get out of the Dark Age. It might not look like it. Hey, there's a sale going on, Nordstrom. Yeah, it looks apparently to be that all you can grab and dash type sale. This is over in LA.
Oh no, that's no good. I mean, granted, Nordstrom's prices can be a little bit much, but this is just so uncalled for. It's sad, but everything has a purpose behind it, so they can roll in the AI.
Yeah, it's the intentional disintegration of society. And speaking of disintegration, this house went boom. And the thing I was expecting to see over here in Plum, Pennsylvania, was some sort of report about natural gas leak, but no, nothing. Doesn't mean it wasn't a natural gas leak. Maybe somebody was cooking something that was illegal, or maybe I don't know. I have no clue. But you could see, there's debris that comes and drops on this house's yard from that house, and unfortunately people did lose their lives. And it's just another strange thing that's going on in these crazy times, as we see the description here, like a war zone, 4 dead, 1 missing after an explosion in western Pennsylvania. So no word on what it was, and yet we have police riding around, armored trucks. Just another day in Oakland over here. Yeah, it is what it is. And again, for these times, probably would have a smoother time away from these big cities. It's going to get even more chaotic. Footage from Warsaw, they put it as the most feared European army, Poland. Again, Poland in World War II was trying to stop Nazi panzers with horse-drawn carriages. It wasn't a pretty sight and didn't take long. And people will forget again that Poland was attacked by both the Soviet Union and Germany together in a coordinated attack. And eventually Germany decided to go ahead and attack the Soviet Union. And, again, these are the decisions that look stupid. Like, why in the world would you open up a second front when you were so close to finishing out one front? Well, because, again, the outcome's already predetermined. The war is just to bring about a desired effect. That's what we have to realize, as it says, RMP, Wagner, Putin, and Lukashenko. Again, somebody's drinking Kool-Aid. But it is what we have in this world, is we still have people, unfortunately, there's a lot of waking up, but there's a ton of waking up more to do.
That's what I think. There's a little, kind of a long way to go.
Yeah, so Taliban's massively successful opium eradication it raises questions. What was the U.S. doing there all along, or Russia before them? Because Russia was there for a long time before the U.S. And in reality, you got almost 40 years of occupation. And in reality, again, things are not what they seem. So, they're going about and they say they have destroyed about 90% of the opium fields. 90 to 99% are destroyed. How did they do it? And the U.S. and the Russians/Soviet Union couldn't do it. It's because it was never the intent in the first place. That's the pretty obvious answer. And as this article alludes to now, maybe the intent, too, is to get those people that are addicted and, unfortunately hooked on these substances heading towards something that's even worse. Yeah, and this was curious. Peru, we've been talking about aliens. How about U.S. troops arriving in Peru? U.S. troops arrive amid upsurge in Peru's underclass. Peru's mostly rural poor and indigenous majority elected the recently deposed Castillo as president in 2021. They're now calling for Boluarte's, his unpopular replacement's, removal. So beginning in June, detachments, U.S. troops arriving in Peru. And I just thought that was curious because I somehow had missed this. And, that was a couple of months ago. Yeah, there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes. As we shared with you guys, we've been able to see, and Cindy can remote view, and we know a lot of our military personnel understand the ET situation. Most don't, absolutely. The vast majority are in the dark as the rest of humanity. But there are others that have worked hand in hand with non-humans.
And that's really, I don't think it's I don't think it's something that's really that uncommon. I think people maybe they find themselves in a place where they're just not believing something. The cognitive dissonance is really big right now.
And there's all sorts of people speaking up about Maui and questioning things, and about certain people wanting to land, and even setting up again a few type of 15-minute city in that area. Yeah, maybe that one was one that might break the camel's back. It might be a straw that breaks the camel's back for many. As you see this photo of Libya when it was under the rulership of that horrible dictator, Muammar Gaddafi. Horrible dictator is what we always heard in the West. These poor people. But then again, we heard that with Iraq too. And Saddam Hussein. He's got weapons of mass destruction. Well, certainly the U.S. and NATO have weapons of mass destruction. So does China and Russia and BRICS. Again, pot's calling the kettle black. But you would also be well served, and I know most of you guys understand this, when you look to the banking system. There were only a few countries that were not taking part in the banking system. And those countries, they end up like this. They get democratized. And in case you forgot, this just says it all. Listen and feel the energy.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Yeah. You ever wonder if, I mean, I hope people understand that people, thinking white hats are on people's heads that are certainly have nothing to do with bringing peace and bringing, the world is upside down. It's always been upside down. As you see these photos from Libya, 2000 and 2018. And again, that's 7 years after, Hillary's bunch came, saw, and he died. You can see it still looks like a mess. And it seemed pretty nice beforehand, clean. Still rubble. Still rubble. It's pretty sad, isn't it? And, there's some things that we can find out. And here is a list, demonized by the West, but here are the facts about Libya under Gaddafi. And again, some might dispute this. So, again, do your own research if you feel so inclined. But it's just to bring up awareness. So free healthcare, free electricity, interest-free loans, newlyweds to receive $50,000 to find a home, mothers receive $5,000 on the birth of a child, citizens receive a percentage of all oil sales, and petrol was only 14 cents a liter. Government paid 50% of the price of your car. Unemployed Libyans receive their average salary for the profession and benefits. And again, more photos before the intervention, humanitarian intervention, and then after. And it still is a mess. And this I will give you guys a link to, and it's just talking about the things we were highlighting as far as life under the horrible, brutal dictator, as they pictured him. And it's not just Libya, Iraq again, Yemen, Syria. You wonder why there's so many people in the U.S. right now that can't stand the United States and NATO, that are just waiting for the go sign to create the type of devastation in our countries that was done to their countries. And again, two wrongs never make a right, for sure. And it's only when we wake up and realize we're all being played, totally, all being played, as the few scientists announced the creation of lab-grown human embryos without eggs or sperm. Yeah, and again, they're just trying to do everything in an unnatural way. This is what the system's all about. It's about replacing the natural with the unnatural. And it goes up to the very top.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is so very unfortunate, the things they put on the media, and they basically tell us what to think, but you can go back and look in history and you can see those photos, what it was like, while that person was in charge, and what it's like after. And you see, my grandma always told me, she said, never judge a painting until it's finished, and we've spent an awful long time on this painting, claiming that we're going over somewhere to liberate something or do something or rebuild or make someone's life better. And that just seems to be the ongoing narrative of this place that we live. And it is really unfortunate that it continues to go on. And this is what you get, don't get me started too much, but white hats are in charge, and you can see exactly how things are going with them in charge. I think we need a different color hat.
Yeah, and I still see, people saying, don't worry, that's not really JB. He's been taken care of, and HRC is already history. And has anything changed yet? No, it hasn't changed. So again, that's all distortion, just trying to just distract us, give us some hope in the wrong places, because they don't want us really looking to create alternatives outside of the system. Tall illegal gold miners in green bulletproof body armor flying around in jetpacks in the Peruvian Amazon, attacking impoverished indigenous villagers day and night as a way to scare them from living in the area so they can mine the gold. So, again, it's just human greed. It has nothing to do with ETs. It has nothing to do with those stories of the Anunnaki. But again, weren't they all about the gold and other resources too? They're certainly about the loosh. And again, they are just conquered beings themselves. So why would they want to fake a story about people flying around the Peruvian jungle on jetpacks like this? This was a French pilot stuntman who did like this flight, and it caused a stir back in 2019. Again, they want us to just automatically think, oh, okay, so that's all that is, and then not think again. But then we see things like this, showing, technology and UAPs, and, and even if this one is just simply another fake, there's so many. And just look to the universal myths that are coming out of every single corner of the globe. Again, why are the indigenous people attacked? Because they know. Well, they'll tell you, there's tribes that'll tell you they come from certain star systems. None of us come from here originally. None of us do. And again, we... in so many ways, we're all just, we're working for the man. We're still mining the land for somebody else. And this is not why we come here. We come here to experience what this creation is and to grow and learn from that experience. But the reality has been hijacked. So it's time for us to take control.
I agree.
And this little guy says, more sugar, please. More sugar. Like this milk. Good stuff. Hope it's non-GMO.
He's a sweetie.
He is. And again, guys, thank you for your support over on Patreon and Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you guys. Much love. Stay prepared. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.